Shadows fall, dimming the light. Whispers grow, a rising tide. Vindicator, where do you hide? Steel is over, heart ablaze. Through smoky haze, he sets his gaze. Justice calls a burning need. A city's wounds he vows to heed. From cobbled streets to tower high, Vindicator takes to the sky. Strikes back with iron hands, defender of this promised land. Breaks the chain, sets spirits free. Vindicator for all to see. Whispers turn to thunderous roar as shadows creep. He slams the door on tyranny's cruel, grasping hand. He fights for freedom, takes a stand with courage born of darkest night. He ignites hope, a guiding light. Strikes back with iron hands, defender of this promised land. Breaks the chain, sets spirits free. Vindicator for all to see. Though battles rage and darkness reigns, hope's ember burns within his veins. He'll never yield, he'll never fall. He answers freedom's clarion call. Strikes back with iron hands, defender of this promised land. Breaks the chain, sets spirits free. Vindicator for all to see. A symbol etched against the moon. Vindicator rising soon.
Hello, everybody. How you all doing? I think is this the first one? No, I think it's the second one of the new year. Live streams. Not really been doing too many of these lately. Right, so it seems we started a conversation off in the comments of my video this morning, talking about Paul Golding and the ethno-nationalism movement. So I'm just basically I've just come out. This is impromptu. I didn't announce it or anything like that. I just want to clarify my position on where I stand on immigration, illegal immigration, and that sort of thing. And for me, I'm just going to say it straight from the outset, right? For me, we need to put a full stop in immigration. We need to get rid of immigration. Immigration needs to be completely stopped, not paused, not put on hold, just stopped completely, 100% stopped completely. That's the way I say about immigration. Illegal immigration, we just need stronger people in power to just turn the boats back. That's all needs to happen with that. With regards to people who are already in the country, anybody that doesn't integrate into our society, accepts our traditions, needs to be deported. That's just the way I see things. They need to be deported. All the Islamists gone. This isn't an Islamic state. This is England. And if you won't integrate into our society, if you want special measures, if you want special consideration for your culture, and with not accepting ours, then you need to go. You need to be kicked out of the country. This would happen if I was in Pakistan and I didn't accept their culture or their way of thinking, and I tried to implement my culture in Pakistan. I would probably be kicked out. I'd either be kicked out of the country or I'd be killed. That's how they would deal with it. And why should we be any different? Why should we be any different And to a certain extent, I do agree with the ethno-nationalist movement. But the issue for me is it has a real problem with extremists. Like everything, ethno-nationalism is on a scale. You've got those people within the ethno-nationalist movement that don't care about the country. They will say, oh, we're doing it because we want our country back, because we want to protect our country. But there are ulterior motives in there with them. And I don't need to mention them. Everybody knows what those ulterior motives are. I can mention it in a roundabout way. A lot of it is a fascination with the Austrian painter and a strange fascination with 1930s Germany. And for a lot of people, that's just not palatable. I'm one of them. I won't buy into that rubbish. I won't buy into that. And unfortunately, it attracts ethno-nationalism, attracts a lot of the extremist element. It does. It attracts those people that we particularly don't want anything to do with. I will give you an example. When I was down in Southampton last year, when I went to the illegal immigrant hotel protest, there were certain groups that tried to infiltrate that protest. One of them being a group called the White Vanguard. Now, as a movement, we're trying to legitimize ourselves. We're trying to win hearts and minds of those that are the normies that are asleep in this country. Do you really think that they are going to accept our movement if we have balaclava clad, dressed in black military uniform, looking like neo-Nazis people turning up to our events and trying to infiltrate it? They were kicked out. They were told they were told to leave, and the police surrounded them and moved them on. They're not welcome. Those sort of people are not welcome because they don't represent us. And it's just the, you know, I have to agree with Carl Benjamin on this one, that Stephen Laws is our Greta Thunberg. He really is. And like a lot of people said in the comments today, he's got no solutions to the issues. Yeah, he's got this. He has solutions. They're just not viable. You know, to Stephen Laws, he would just deport everybody. Everybody that's not English, deport them all, and that's just not logistically possible. Not logistically possible, and not ethically possible either. It's just something that we don't want. This is my stance on things, right? All those people that are already here, so long as you integrate, as long as you accept our culture, so long as you're not trying to destroy it from within, as long as you're not trying to implement your own culture within ours, or supplement your culture, our culture for your own, then I've got no issues with you. Do what you've got to do. You're working, you're paying your taxes, fair enough. Whatever. Of course, and I agree with the ethno-nationalists on this. They'll never be British. They'll never be ethnically British. They'll never be ethnically English. That's a given. We are connected to these lands via blood, sweat, and history. And I'm guessing many of those people would realise that anyway. What I'm talking about is the people that won't integrate into our society. The ones that are making demands and want appeasing all the time. Those sort of people, they just need to, pardon my French, fuck off. They need to go back to the country that they came from. Why would you come? I mean, if you come to this country, right, you're coming to this country for a better life, aren't you? That's the number one thing, isn't it? You are coming to this country for a better life. So why would you want to turn this country into the country you've just left that's an absolute shithole? Why would you want that? Unless you've got nefarious intentions, unless your only reason for being here is to conquer our country and make it the country that you just came from. That's the way I see it. Yeah, I totally agree. 100% agree. All these little Baghdad places, all these little Islamist enclaves, you know, like Bradford, what's the other one? Birmingham. Instead of letting them be turned into little colonies, they need to be kicked out of the country. They need to be rounded up and kicked out of the country. That's just the way I see it. Mass deportations, mass re-immigration of these people, because they've got no intentions of integrating into our society. Really, our country should be at not, I would say probably, I know people are going to disagree with this number, I would say probably it should be 98 ethnically English, our country. That's the way I see it. We didn't need all this immigration. And this is why we have an issue now. This is why we've allowed all these foreigners to take over minimum wage jobs. Usually, for immigration, they don't allow that. If you go to America, then you've got to be getting a high-paid job. If you want to emigrate to a country, then you've got to be bringing something to that country that they don't already have. You know, we should be investing in our own people. You know, if we need more security officers, then we need to train more of our own people to be security officers, not import them from the third world. I'm talking about this because I'm passionate, because this is my industry that's been decimated. The security industry, my industry, has been absolutely decimated by foreign labor. That's why you see every person you see now in a retail shop position or at a car park attendant or whatever, the security is foreign. And that's because our local authorities have been handing out SIA licenses like confetti, totally destroyed. Same with forklift truck driving jobs. Totally decimated that industry. Wages dropped because everybody had a license. When you create an oversupply of a certain skill set, the wages drop. If we need people in certain areas of industry, builders, plumbers, joiners, then we need to train our own people first before we start importing from the third world or anywhere else. Investment in our own people. That's where it should be. And this is where we've gone wrong. When the floodgates opened, all those jobs were taken. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at some of the comments. All the petrol station run by Indians and they employ only. Yeah, it's this point, isn't it, though? It's nepotism. Because what do? Because of their culture, because of their traditions in their culture, they employ family. They don't think about employing people from the local area. They employ their own people, their own family, because that's how they make themselves rich, because they can employ family that will work for peanuts, that won't work for minimum wage. And that's how they make their fortunes. That's why you see them all driving around in Mercedes, because they employ family that work for next to nothing. Nepotism. We've seen it ourselves. My partner, she went for a hotel cleaning position. She was a cleaner at a hotel, and it was nepotism. They were all Polish, and they were making her feel uncomfortable all the time, picking on her. That's nepotism. All these positions, warehouse positions. The local warehouse where I live were advertising. I believe it was Amazon, not far from where I live. They were advertising for order pickers that could speak Romanian because the supervisors were Romanian. What country in the right mind allows that to happen? Where their own people are excluded because they don't speak a certain language. The only thing that people should be speaking in this country is English. If you want to apply for a job in this country, you should be speaking English. We shouldn't be appeasing people and saying, right, we're only going to let people apply for the job that can speak Romanian because that's, you know, it's just backward. The country's just backward. It really is. It's crazy. And you know what? I can understand it. I can understand the ethno-nationalist movement to a certain extent. I can understand them. The only thing I can't understand about them is their fascination with the Austrian painter and 1930s Germany. If they removed that element from the ethno-nationalist side of things, it will be a hell of a lot more palatable to the general public. It just would. So look at some other comments. Yeah, I saw that. That's insane. And what happened? That's the same thing that happened in Ireland, wasn't it? In Southern Ireland, they started going around the illegal immigrant hotels, trying to recruit the illegals into the police force. I'm struggling to get a job, but I do want to work with a load of. That's the issue, isn't it? That's another side of things as well, because I've done jobs like that. When I first came back from Iraq, I went to work. I was doing agency work, and I was working for a bakery. I didn't care at the time. It was money. I was making sandwiches on a production line, and they're all foreign. You stood next to it, and it's a long shift. It was a 12-hour shift, and it's a long shift if you can't talk to the person next to you because they don't understand English. You know, the biggest part of work in this country is the banter. And I was in the canteen at our break times, and sometimes it was like a civil war had broken out because you got different factions of Islamists in there. You got Sunni and Shia Islamists at each other's throats. You got different types of African gangs that hated each other there. It was just horrific. I think I managed to do about 6 months, and then I just quit because it was just awful. It was money in the pocket at the time, though. But yeah, I totally understand that reason why you wouldn't want to work with them. When I was coming back from the, I'll try and get it up in a minute. When I was coming back from doing my morning walk, this video, I was walking up the side of the where the warehouse is, where the big distribution center is, and I was only walking past, and this immigrant, he walked past me, and I was doing. I think I even said it in the video. I said, "There's somebody walking down, just doing the video," and he followed me. He followed me back up to the top of the road, and he said, "Do you mind blurring my face out? I don't want to be seen on camera." And it's like, mate, I wasn't even pointing the camera at you; it's pointed at me. You're not even on there. And even if you had, I wouldn't have blurred your face out because it's, you know, I'm filming in public. If you don't want to be seen, wear a mask or a face covering and put your hood up. It's the entitlement. It's the entitlement that they think they can demand things of you and have it given to them. And it's like, no, it wouldn't have mattered if it was anybody else. If it was anybody else, I would have given them the same answer. It's like, no, if you want to cover your face up, sort of thing. It's just the entitlement of some people. I mean, point in case is that video that I uploaded. It's the entitlement of those two lads on that moped as well to ask me what I was doing. And it's like, just F off. It's nothing to do with you what I'm doing. Go about your business. I'm not interfering with you. Why are you trying to interfere with me? It's just annoying. Banter is a dead job, is a lifesaver. If you can get one though, mate. That's the point. I've had lots of stories of native Brits coming up to me and saying they're back of the queue. Some have been told to their face that they haven't got the job because they're English. And yeah, you're right, that's against the Equalities Act 2010, but that only applies if you're a minority. If you're a white working class British person, then the Equalities Act doesn't apply to you. And who's going to enforce it? I worked in Wales 15 years ago, all English, and then they started bringing in Africans, and they expected you to keep them all the time. If you didn't, they'd report you. God. Yeah, exactly. It's like, just go away. This is our country. You know, we're not going to appease you. I work in a job that is only 25% English. Can't complain, to be honest, but I still think it's a disgrace. The managers are mostly English, which helps. Yeah, see, some places you don't get that. All the managers. I mean, I did a security job in Barnsley 2 or 3 years ago, and all the managers, all the supervisors were either Polish, Romanian, Albanian. Again, nepotism. I went and did a job not too far here, a place called Shirebrook, at a distribution centre. I think it was Sports Direct, and they were all the security were foreign. I was the only English guy going for a job, and obviously I didn't get it because they had diversity, equity, and inclusion policies even then. And this is it, you know, we're already up against it. When you apply for a job, you're already going up against probably about 100 to 200 people straight away. So you think about that over time. I mean, I lose count of how many job applications I apply for a week. I do. I lose count. The job centre can't believe how many jobs I actually apply for and just get turned down, and they can't understand why. And it's like a lot of these security firms have been taken over. They've been taken over by foreign firms. I mean, a lot of them are Swedish. Some are Swedish. The bigger companies. They used to be smaller companies at one time. They've all been eaten up. The SIA got rid of all of those, and now it's just like a big monopoly of like all these bigger companies that own all the security contracts, and they're not just solely security though. A lot of them do everything that the office will probably need. They will do cleaning, they will do security, they will do administration, that sort of thing. So it's not. So if you work for a company, it's not just solely a security company. It's got its hands in many pies, and I've worked with lots of them, and they're rubbish. The best ones that I used to work for, the security firms, were the ones that were actually run by ex-military. They were spot on. You couldn't fault them, but all that's gone now, and it's mainly due down to the SIA. Yeah, they couldn't give a toss, Steve. They're not bothered. I've talked about this before. When I first left school, you walked into a job centre, and you'll probably be able to back me up on this, Steve. You walked into a job centre. You went to see. They weren't called work coaches then. That they were called job advisors, right? So you walk up to a job advisor, and you'd sit down. And what they do, they probably get about 10 jobs out in front of you, and they go, pick one. And you look through them, you read through them, the little cards. You read through them, you say, "Oh, I quite like the look of that one." And what they would do is they would ring up that company and arrange an interview for you. That's what they used to do, and it was a lot easier to get a job back then because they probably built up contacts within certain industries, certain people, certain contacts that knew people who wanted jobs, and they would get you in touch. Say, right, go for a job interview, and if you don't get it, come back. Well, we've got a few more for you, and that's how it used to be done. Nowadays, you walk into a job centre and they don't give a toss. They don't care. I prefer that. I prefer them saying, "I'll get you a job." It's like great because that's basically what they're paid to do. They're a job centre. They're paid to get you back into work. So I've got no issues with them saying, "Right, go and do this." Right, great, because that saves me time and effort. I don't have to worry about it. I know that if I lose my job, I can go to the job centre. They're going to offer me 10, 10, 15 jobs to choose from. And you know, even if it's a shitty job, you just do it because it tides you over. It tides you over until you can find something better. That's all you want to do. But that's my other point as well, right? Because those jobs, we used to have jobs in this country that could tide you over until you find a decent job. You can't do those anymore now because they're all taken up by foreigners. all those low paid jobs that you could do to fill in the gap between getting something better, they're all filled in now because we've flooded the job market with cheap foreign labor. That's why people are finding it so hard to get a job. All the care work jobs taken up by foreigners, all the delivery jobs taken up by foreigners. That's what's happened. This is what happens when you flood the job market, when you have uncontrolled immigration into the country. There are no jobs for the natives. This is why you have to have control on it. This is why it should be a trickle. And to me, it shouldn't even exist anymore now. We've got way too many people in the country. Way too many. If anything, we need to be kicking people out. So there are jobs. So there are jobs and social houses for native Brits. That's what needs to happen. But they won't do it. It won't happen. It's wishful thinking because they're socialists. We've got socialist communists in charge at the minute, and they don't want to do that because it's all part of the plan, isn't it? It's all part of the plan, the slow, managed decline of this country, so they can wreck it, burn it to the ground, and then rebuild it with their social credit system, their communist social credit system, because that's what they want to do. It's not a conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy theory at all. Anybody with half a brain knows that's what they've got planned. Security was going down in the 90s. I was a supervisor, and the staff I was getting in couldn't even read. Yeah, thing is, right, they brought in a test in the SIA to test to see people had at least a basic standard of English and maths. The very basic, just to communicate. And what's happened is you've got people that walk in and take the test for them. And I know that the job centre run courses for the SIA license, they are very lax, shall we say. So they get paid by pass rate. So they have to get the entire group to pass for them to get the maximum amount of money out of what they've done. So they just give people the answers. That's why you've got absolute shite security in retail stores that don't know what they're doing, that can't speak English. I've had several of them working with me. They can't speak English. So how am I supposed to communicate with them on a radio and tell them to stop that person who's leaving via the back door? They've stolen something. How am I supposed to communicate with them to stop that person? You can't. And when I said this to the manager, saying they're no good, they can't speak English. How am I supposed to do my job if they can't speak English? And he just said, well, just stand there. Just stand there. You know, be a deterrent. That's all we want. And that's what a lot of these security managers do. They just tell you to stand there. Because the reality is, and a lot of security will tell you this, I'm sure that you would agree with this, Mark, that a lot of the security, a lot of the companies, you're just there for insurance purposes. The only reason you're on site in a retail security environment is to make sure that that company can maintain their insurance. Because in their insurance policy, it will state that they have to have security on duty. I've been told this myself. So they don't really want you to do your job. You just stand there. No, no, they don't. I mean, they teach a little bit in the course, but not a lot. And I do the door supervisor course when I do it. They've got a badge for everything. Really, they only need one badge. They could encompass everything in one badge if they really wanted to. But it's a money making scheme. The SIA is a money making scheme. You have to have a badge for everything. So you have to have a badge if you want to do CCTV. You've got to have an SIA license to do that. If you want to be a door supervisor, you've got to have a door supervisor license to do that. If you want to be a close protection operative, you've got to have the SIA close protection operative badge. It's a money-making scheme. If they really thought about it, it's only a few extra modules. They could put those extra modules into just doing one badge, and you have to renew it every 3 years, which is ridiculous to me. What they should do is, like every 3 years, instead of having to renew your badge, you have to do a mandatory top-up course. That's all you have to do, and pay for that. But every time, every 3 years, you've got to update your license. I mean, all it would take is, I mean, it's all digital. I mean, if they say, well, you pick your face might change over the, it's like fair enough. Just send in a digital passport photo and just update your profile, because when you do the SIA license, you actually have a profile. You have an SIA profile that has all your details on it. Your number on your SIA license correlates to that profile. So if you get into trouble with the police or anything like that, it goes on that profile. They will know about it. That's all that needs to happen. It's just a scam. To be honest with you, the SIA hasn't changed anything, because these big firms, I mean, they set it up to try and get rid of all these cowboy security firms, but in reality, it didn't stop them. They just got bigger and wiser and know how to get around the SIA regulations. That's all that happened with them. Exactly, Steve. Yeah. Thanks, Craig. Me too, mate. I remember security when it was CITO. That was the governing body at the time. And all you had to do was fill in a little booklet. That's all you had to do. You didn't have to go through all these modules stuff all the time. And security firms used to do it themselves. It used to be a little light blue book with CITO on the front of it, and you just had to jot down things inside it. Thanks, mate. Thank you a lot. Thank you. Bums on the seats, buddy. I hated the shifts. Nearly killed me knocking out 80 hours a week. Cost my marriage in the end. And I was all over the country. Same here. Yeah. That's the thing about security. You're not guaranteed to be in the same town, because they move you about. No, you're all right, Annie. You've not missed a lot at all. It's just a general chat today. We talk about all sorts on here. Hi, how you doing? So how has everybody been? How have you all been? I hope you've been doing really well. It was very cold this morning. Didn't look it when I was out, but it was absolutely freezing. I went out about 4 o'clock this morning to do that deer night vision video that got ruined. And it was about -8 where I was up on the tops. So that shows you how cold it was around here. It was solid. It is, mate. It's very cold. I think we're about to get some more snow, to be honest with you. It looks like, yeah. They've given snow for today around here, and that looks remarkably like snow that's falling over there right now. Definitely going to get some snow. The ground's frozen solid. It's warmer today. Probably where you are, mate. Not where I am. I've got a cough like a velociraptor. Could probably make money doing that dirty phone calls like that. Yeah. Yeah, it looks like it's snowing over there. You can see it. It's like little billowing things coming down. Yeah, it's definitely snowing over there. Yeah, Tom had some. Tom had some snow down south, and he said doesn't normally get it. It wasn't much. You know, he showed it to me. He took a photograph and showed me. It was like, you know, about 0.5 millimeter of snow. Good for you, buddy. We haven't got any here at the minute. It's just the ground's just frozen solid. So if it does come tonight, then it's going to settle. Steve, police looking for migrants to work in the police and arrest the British citizens too. Yeah, that's in Scotland, isn't it? That, but it'll soon bleed down here. They'll have it down here soon, just like they did in Ireland, because that went down well, didn't it? In Ireland, went down like a lead balloon when they started trying to recruit the illegal immigrants in the hotels to do police work. How insane is that? They can't even speak English. Let's have a look. Been busy getting comments deleted on YouTube. I thought it's raining here, snow gone. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's the thing as well. To all the people that are new to the channel, it's not me deleting comments, it's YouTube. And what I've found is, it's if you leave links, I know a lot of people have left links in the comments. YouTube will just get rid of them. So yeah, you leave links on videos, they will be gone. They get rid of them. I tried. This is why I've had some of my links deleted from the description, because people kept on asking me for sources. So sources to the news articles I talk about and stuff. So I started putting them in the description, and I got warnings. I got warnings from YouTube telling me not to leave certain links in the description. They don't like external links. X doesn't like external links, and YouTube doesn't like external links. So a bit of a heads up there. So if a comment disappears and you've put a link in it, then that's probably why it's gone. It wouldn't let me name a channel or title. I added that I watched on. Yeah. I've had lots of issues lately where I've been trying to reply to comments and it keeps telling me error. Has anybody else had that? Like a little error message comes up. It's mainly when I'm trying to reply to them on my phone. Yeah, that's it then. Yeah, you can only link to another YouTube video. Nice one. Sometimes I get that. Yeah, it's not when I'm on the laptop. When I'm on my laptop, it seems to go through pretty well. Replying to comments. It's when I try and do it on my phone. Really doesn't like it. Hey mate, how you doing? I've recently started work in Birmingham City Council, so I invested in a big Union Jack bobble hat. Oh yeah, and the rest of the room under the town hall is plastered with them. Clear Starmer is a what? Yeah, I won't finish the rest of that, but I know what you mean. Yeah, I've had that. I've had it where I couldn't like a video numerous times. Yeah, I'm not sure if they're doing some kind of maintenance on YouTube. They could be. They could be updating anything because they've just added the ability to. You've probably seen me doing it, replying to comments via voice message like you can on WhatsApp. You can do that on YouTube now. It's only 30 seconds, but it's enough to make a single point. I can also do reply with a video short as well. So if there's a lengthy comment and this is the thing, I don't like lengthy comments. I do try to read all the comments, but take in consideration I have a lot of comments to read. So if it's a massive War and Peace comment, I do tend to skip over them. So bear that in mind. I do try to read all the comments on all my videos. I do try to get around to doing it, but it's really hard, especially now I'm on multiple platforms. I'm trying to do Twitter, replying to comments on Twitter. I'm trying to reply to comments on YouTube, Facebook, and things like that. It does get a bit hard, and it could turn into a full-time job just doing it. So I have to like ration my time. I get loads of comments removed. Must be saying all the right things. Yeah, it's the algorithm. I'm starting not to like Twitter because I don't know what they've done to the algorithm, but it's shocking. Us veterans are savvy in the 90s, unfortunately. A lot of employers got very wealthy from us wrung us out. The next one, many takers. What I'm finding at the minute is, if they find out that you've served in the military, especially in security, which is strange, they don't want you because they think you're a liability. I've heard that from quite a few of my friends as well that are ex-military. Whereas one time they'd bite your hand off if they found out you served your country. They'd bite your hand off. Right, we want you because you're bringing skill sets. You know, you've instantly got the radio etiquette that they want. You're good on a radio. You know how to communicate properly on a radio, and not just that, you can communicate to the public as well. You've got good people skills as well, and not anymore. If you put that on your CV, to the back of the queue you go. Believe it or not, I have to leave it out. I leave it out of my CVs now because it's woke. It's wokeness. It's because that they hate anybody like that. They hate anything that could be deemed as patriotic. They see you. I know it's strange that if you're ex-military, they probably see you as far right, and that's why they don't hire you. That's the way it's gone. Why can't you remove your government? And what that actually means was the title of the vid. Right? Okay. I'm not entirely sure what you're asking there, but okay. Definitely. Then do you think Starmer will get the same as the Venezuelan president? I don't think he will. I think President Trump is going to use other methods to get rid of Starmer. I think he might leak certain information, not directly, indirectly leak certain information that gets into the public consciousness that will finish him off. I mean, there are other ways he could put tariffs up on the country. There are other ways. It's different for the Venezuelan thing because Venezuela is a narco state, and that's why he's done it over there. And he's got Colombia in the crosshairs. He's got Mexico. They're not in the crosshairs, but I think he's saying, they need to clear their act up. But yeah. Yeah. Sooner the better, mate. Yeah. Starmer's a scumbag. I say it in my videos every day. He's a robotic, monotoned meat puppet. That's what he is. Don't think of him as the prime minister. Just think of him as middle management. He's something that the World Economic Forum has put in place to manage the decline of the country. Just like the World Economic Forum has put several leaders around the world in several high-profile Western countries to manage the decline of those countries. You've got Australia, you've got Ireland, you've got Canada, you've got the UK, you've got other places in Europe as well where they're just blatantly globalist puppets just doing the bidding of the World Economic Forum, aren't they? It's the managed decline, and this is the fight that Trump is going against. Veterans always hardworking, honest, and integrity and diligence. I was doing okay in the 80s plus. However, I'm 54, triple heart bypass recovery, previous TBI. I get a bit of help financially. Yeah. Don't you get do you get your military pension? See, unfortunately, I was TA in the 90s and I didn't qualify. I didn't qualify for a military pension. That's all changed now, I think. It's a long time since I was in the TA. It's a long time ago. I know it all changed. I think it all changed around the end of the 90s, didn't it? Because they stopped being called the TA, they became the reserves, didn't they? So all the reserves now. The problem is it will get replaced by another globalist puppet. Yeah, of course he will. Sorry, mate. Sorry. Yeah, when you say military, I always assume army. Sorry about that. Yeah, when I just left, and a lot of my friends stayed in, and all the regiments were getting merged. That's the time they just started doing it. They were like the cutbacks were coming in, so they were merging regiments together and getting rid of them, and getting rid of some of them, retiring them, should we say, which was a shame. We have to rise up, march on Whitehall, and demand change. I agree, but it's getting the numbers to do it. Yeah, we weren't. Let's just say the TA in the 90s wasn't very well thought of back then. I mean, I know the reservists, they get a lot of respect now, but the TA, you know yourself what they used to call us. We were called the toy soldiers, and to be honest, we probably deserved that. It wasn't like being the regular army. It was a bit of a joke, really. I mean, it was more, to be honest with you, the TA was more of a drinking culture than armed forces. I look back on it now and I think, well, they allowed us to have weapons. Yeah, I learned a lot though. I learned a lot from people in there because a lot of the people that were in the TA were actually ex full time military. They just wanted to just do something in their spare time, so that's what they're doing. Some of them were instructors. Learned a lot from them. I learned even more when I went and did close protection work. And I've learnt from some of the best in the world, all over the world, some of the best soldiers from all over the world. That's all I can say about that. But yeah, yeah, yes, yes. It's all flooding back. It's all flooding back. The names. I'll tell you something though. We our barracks where we were. We had a little mini. I think it was unique to us. We had a basement. In our basement, we actually had a shooting range in our basement. Believe it or not, that was pretty good. Oh God, brings back memories, happier times. I was in the army cadets, and it just seemed like a natural progression. I mean, I did army cadets at the same barracks. It was like it was at the TA training centre where we did army cadets. So the same people that were taking army cadets were doing the TA. So it was the same people. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, really did. But it didn't pay much back then, and the employers weren't too keen on it because you had to take at the time you had to have certain amounts of time off from work to do certain things, and employers didn't really like that. I wish I could tell you what I used to do, but unfortunately, I've got to keep stum. I have the lefties. They scour my content looking for details about my life to try and figure out where I am. So I have to be really careful what I say online about certain things. So speaking about that, I've had one or two real threats recently, serious threats that I've taken seriously anyway. So yeah, that's one of the reasons I've not been doing too many live streams as late as well, because I'm not going to mention names, but one of those particular people used to come in the live stream all the time, and that's been passed over to the police now. So, yeah, wouldn't want to be in their shoes. We had a shooting range in one depot. I'm already dug up the books to find an MG and that somewhere buried it. Wow. Yeah, I can't. No, I can't tell the story because it's got too many details in it. Never wanted to be airborne. I couldn't be asked to parachute from the moon. Yeah. Let's just say, Steve, all information has been passed over to them because it's not just been on here; it's been on other platforms as well. There's been some serious stuff, some serious things said. I'll just leave it at that. Hopefully they will, Craig. If we need people to rise up to, as March in May could be the time. The piss taking is coming in right, left, and centre. This is what I missed. I missed the banter. I definitely missed the banter. Oh wow! I'll tell you something. I couldn't imagine any of these snowflakes nowadays joining the TA because back in the day, probably in the regular army as well, if you couldn't take a ribbon, if you couldn't take having the piss taken out of you, you'd be in trouble. I've seen some of the lads reduced some people to tears, and yeah, you'll know as well the gallows humour as well. I miss that. I worked at a firm, and you know, gallows humour was second nature to me. They just didn't know how to take me. They just thought I was this evil bastard, but they just didn't get it. And that's the thing. I think that's why a lot of veterans end up homeless on the streets because they just can't fit back into society. It's really hard to do because you are institutionalized. Not so much me when I was in the TA, but definitely when I came back from overseas doing my close protection work, definitely institutionalized because you're told where to eat, shit, and sleep, and that sort of thing. But yeah, I think that's why a lot of the veterans end up on the streets because they just can't fit back in because it's the only life they've ever known. And when you go back to Vsb Straght and you go back to doing a civilian job with civilian people, and you see how much they bitch and moan and stab each other in the back, it's completely alien to you because you're used to having each other's backs. You wouldn't dream of doing that to any of your mates. Well, I wouldn't anyway. You know, I always had their backs and they always had mine. And I think that was a necessity. You had to count on the person next to you at all times. And then when you go back to Vsb Straght and you see all these fucking idiots moaning and complaining about mundane things, and you think, if only you knew half of it. Yeah, that was all part of it. Nobody got offended. Nobody got nobody got a fucking broom up their arse or anything like it. It was just everybody was in the same boat. Everybody was getting the absolute piss taken out of them all the time. Right, guys. I'm not gonna throw out the link today for obvious reasons because I don't want certain individuals coming into the live stream. So I'm going to thank you all for coming along. Just going to read this last comment and that's it. I think we definitely need a peasants' revolt with veterans and bikers to walk onto Parliament. Did anybody see that interview with Ant Middleton the other day? Now, I don't know anything about this, but apparently he's got his ear close to the ground and he said that if things kick off in this country, he said the soldiers are already to align. They're already in and waiting to go. I don't know if everybody else saw that. I mean, I've not heard anything about that, but yeah, that's interesting coming from Ant Middleton. I just want to put that out there. Like he said, he's got his ear close to the ground and he knows things. He says that there will be an order given, a button pressed, and if there's one more mass shooting like we saw in Bondi Beach or a mass stabbing like what we saw in Southport, then things will kick off. I don't know how serious to take that, but you know, it's worth noting. No problem, mate. No problem. Imagine Vsb Straght seems too lightweight to allow vets to integrate. Yeah, it does, yeah. I think that's why a lot of them, when they used to come out, they used to go, they either went in the police or they did security work. You go for something that you know, you go for something similar. It'll never be the same, but you go for something similar to what you're used to and what you know. And I think that's why a lot of people did that. Right, guys, I'm going to call it at this one. Thanks for all coming on. Thanks for having a chat. I like to do this every now and again, having a chat to the subs. Next time I come live, I will drop the link and ask people to come in and have a chat. It'll be great to hear from you all. Have some new people coming in. All right, guys, I shall see you all soon. This is Vindicator signing off.